Welcome to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, the big butch manly movie podcast that floats like a butterfly and stings like a butterfly. I'm Shane Holland.
And I'm Andrew Wheeler. It'll all make sense in the end.
Don't make promises you can't keep. Today, we are discussing the 1985 Bond movie from director John Glenn that marks the end of Roger Moore's time as James Bond. This is A View to a Kill. It is also, sadly, the end of Lois Maxwell's much longer time as Miss Moneypenny. It also stars Patrick Macnee, the fourth Avengers star to appear in a Bond film.
Oh,
Tanya
right.
Roberts.
We're counting Joanna Lumley.
We are counting Joanna Lumley, yes, for her 2 seconds on screen, yeah. It also has Tanya Roberts, the final Charlie's Angel, Christopher Walken, and the iconic Grace Jones as Mayday. Truly the savior of this as a piece of film. This film follows British secret agent James Bond, heard of him, who recovers a microchip with potential for sinister applications. He follows the trail to industrialist Max Zorin, played by Christopher Walken, and his tough Amazonian bodyguard Mayday, played by Grace Jones. Zorin plans to destroy California's Silicon Valley and eliminate the competition. Ooh, sounds exciting.
And
I'll tell you what, this movie sings at one point.
this is where we confess our dark secret that yesterday we watched this movie at Y of Speed because we already have extensive notes about this movie. We've seen it many times. We just needed a refresher. And like watching it at 1.5 was like, oh, this fixes some of the movie's problems.
There are parts of this film where Christopher Walken is talking to, collected people, and it felt long. We were watching it at 1.5 times speed.
He is a lugubrious man. He has pace that is all his own.
Oh my God. And the fight scenes, like the action sequences actually felt Bondian, like they were kinetic and the action was happening. And then this morning, I was watching parts of this just at normal speed. And my God, can you tell how old Roger Moore is and how old all of his stuntmen are? All of the stunt doubles are doing like slow motion. It was heavy. It all felt heavy.
Even the goons are old men in this movie, which maybe is like a criteria for Roger Moore's sake. Like if you put fit young men against him, someone's going to break something.
Oh, absolutely.
Even if Roger Moore is not shooting those scenes, like his stunt double is also like not a spring chicken.
57.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, well, we can't have anyone under the age of say 48 anywhere in this movie.
I mean, my God, respect to action stars today who are like in their mid 60s, early 70s, and who are still ripped, and maybe they don't move as fast as a 30-something action star, but at least movie making makes it feel like action films have a pace to them. This one certainly has a pace, but it's not the pace that we want.
No, yeah, Liam Neeson could still, like, he could make another Taken tomorrow, and he will. It won't be called Taken, it'll be called something else, but he is still out there. Bob Odenkirk, I don't even know how old Bob Odenkirk is, but like, he's a believable action star, which seems all the stranger considering he's not even like a serious dramatic actor prior to.
Right? Keanu Reeves has got to be the same age as Roger Moore was in these movies.
Yeah.
And those John Wick films are fantastic, as we discussed recently.
And some people, like Tom Cruise,
some people do.
All kinds.
It takes all kinds. What are some other first reactions you have to this film, Andrew? What's your history with it?
Well, so I think this movie has always been about Mayday for me. Like, even as a baby queer, Mayday always stood out as like a remarkable. I mean, Grace Jones's presence is remarkable. She is unlike anything else I'd seen on film, I think, to that point. Her fashion, her presence, the character she plays is a superhuman, which was unusual to say the least. But a lot else about this movie, it's a fin de régime Bond movie, and those are always remarkable because they always mark the point at which the franchise breaks. And they're like, okay, we have to rethink this. So I would say that the fin de régime Bonds are Diamonds Are Forever, this film, Die Another Day, and No Time to Die. Like those
Hmm.
4 movies each mark the point at which the franchise snapped and they had
Yeah.
to do something new.
You didn't
And this
mention
one
On Her
is,
Majesty's Secret Service for some reason.
I mean, I think because Diamonds is right after it. I think Diamonds is the more like is the
Yeah.
stronger case for that. But I mean, I could write a thesis about what makes something fin de regime or not.
It's called this
So yeah, I
podcast.
think I think this film is particularly bad by even fan de regime standards. It is
Hmm.
bloated. It is creepy because of how old Roger Moore is and how young all the women are. It is preposterous, and that doesn't count against it. But it's indulgent, I think, in the worst ways. But are there things I love about it? Yes. Even
Hmm.
beyond Mayday?
Hmm.
Yes. Like there's an 80s-ness to it that I appreciate now that I'm no longer mired in the 80s. You know, when I watched this film, it was a new movie the first time I watched it. The first dozen times I watched it. But now it's a historical piece, and in that sense it's kind of fascinating.
Yeah, truly.
What about you? You were a baby when this came out.
Yes. I wasn't alive when this came out, Andrew.
Okay, all
Uh,
right.
I saw this movie for the first time. It was probably one of the last Bond films I ever saw. I might have caught it in reruns on TV in the late 90s, early 2000s. I remember skipping a lot of the Roger Moore films in my initial watch of James Bond because they just did not connect with me. And I think even then, back then in my like teenage years, I'd heard how bad this one was. So I didn't feel the need to watch it. So it was like much later in my movie watching life that I saw this, and I hated it at first. I did not enjoy it, but as I have grown, there are things that I do appreciate about it. Grace Jones, first and foremost, who all like as campy as everything in this film is, and the camp I also love, as campy as everything is, Grace Jones' performance fits perfectly. She knows what movie she's in, and she does it really well. A portrayal to 110% of this villainous henchwoman, femme fatale. I also kind of love Christopher Walken in this. It's so weird to have such a well-known star in the pre-Daniel Craig era to be the main villain. Like usually it's like some actor who is a TV star or someone you've barely heard of. But at this point in his career, Christopher Walken was a household name. And he's cool in this film. He brings the youth and vitality that this film desperately needs. I
Two
also
words I
love
always
some
associate with Christopher Walken.
youth and vitality, yes. And some of the action is great. It's bonkers, it's zany, but the Eiffel Tower sequence is really fun, particularly the Papillon show. The fire truck chase is good. It's not exactly what I want, but it's so close. I mean, you've got a swinging ladder cutting off the tops of cars, and it ends in this bridge jump, but more importantly, police cars like practically being lifted on this bridge and then crashing straight down. Really cool. Looks good. And the final set piece, as slow moving as Roger Moore's stunt double is, the idea of it is brilliant. And it's death
Right.
defying, and it gives me that giddy pit in my stomach of heights. I don't know if I've ever told this on the pod before, but the most terrified I've ever been was crossing the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. My partner at the time and I were doing a bike trip out to Sausalito, California, wine country. And to do that, you have to take your bike across the Golden Gate Bridge. As soon as the bridge kind of opens up onto the water, I had a panic attack and had
Oh.
to get off the bike and walk it across the bridge, which, takes a lot longer than if I just ridden the bike over the bridge. But I could barely move my feet one in front of the other.
Oh.
It is really high up, and that is ocean beneath you. It is not just like a gentle water. And, many people have died falling into that water.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the
Mm-hmm.
only thing I could think of that I was going to be next. And so I was mostly like horse blinders on the entire time, not to the film. And I have this picture of myself when I cross the bridge, like tears streaming down my face, giving like a thumbs up. I hated it, but I loved it. It was exhilarating. And so seeing the Golden Gate Bridge in this film always reminds me of like, oh, how like what a feat of engineering that thing is, and also what a terrifying structure that is.
Really want to walk across it now. The closest we've got is that Danforth Bridge in here in Toronto.
Yeah, it's not quite the
which
same.
Can get the heart racing a little bit, but it's not as tall, and it's not as. I mean, if you fall off it, you're done because it's just a road
for sure.
Yeah, so I would say it's a good thing you watched this film late in your Bond experience, because, like, presumably even after you'd watched all the Brosnans then and all the Daltons.
Yes.
Because I think anyone whose first experience of Bond was this movie would give up. Like, I don't know how you coax someone back.
No, this would be like, why do people like this again? Tell me what it is that you get about this. Yeah, this is difficult. This is a difficult film to explain to people who are not fans of action movies, who are not fans of James Bond, who are not fans of cinema.
Oh, yes, this is cinema.
Oh, it's cinema. St. John Cinema. By the way, St. John Smythe is not the way that you pronounce that last name, right?
It is. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Unfortunately.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's spelt Saint John Smythe. I mean, the Smythe bit might be wrong, actually. Smythe, Smythe, is often just pronounced Smith. But Stjohn, St. John, is pronounced St. John as a surname. So he should be properly St. John Smith.
Well, that wouldn't be English enough. This is Bond's cover, by the way, for half of the movie. Cover. He goes around telling everyone he's English as if it wasn't the most plainly obvious thing.
My name's James St. John Smith. I'm here with my grandchildren.
I tuck them in at night.
Oh, no.
He does.
BB doll flashbacks.
Ugh. He literally tucks Stacy, what's her name? Sutton. Stacy Sutton into bed. And watches over her with a shotgun. It's the creepiest thing I think I've ever seen.
I mean, there's also the bed scene with Grace Jones, which is upsetting for whole other reasons. Like, that woman does not want to be there.
I mean, there's literally a cut as she's getting into bed so that you don't see her get into bed, because they so hated each other that both of them said, no, there will be no reshoots. This is what you're getting.
I mean, at least it does make sense for the character. Like, the character hating James Bond and not being seduced by him at all, and just being like, all right, this is my job.
Yeah.
Like,
very Grace Jones energy.
No notes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Grace Jones and Mayday, shall we get into the first of our 5 pillars of praising these movies?
Yes, absolutely. And that is the women. And I mean, yeah, what more can we say about Grace Jones as Mayday? Here is a femme fatale who is a superhuman. She's injected with Nazi horse steroids, presumably, and she lifts men above her head and throws them as if they're made of paper. She drives fast cars. She single-handedly takes out almost every ally that Bond has in this film. And she's cool. I mean, we'll talk about the fashion as one of our pillars, but my God, the fashion on this woman sells everything about the character.
Yeah.
When she walks on screen, you understand who this person is. And that's an incredible feat for such a shitty film.
Yeah. One of our friends, while we were watching this movie yesterday, was like, when we were explaining why she is strong, was like, oh, so she's Captain America? And we were like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She had the super soldier serum. It was just super horse serum instead. But, you know, they both came from Nazis originally. So, yeah, it's all the same thing. I love that the first line, not from Mayday, but about her, is, we're not sure about her when they're debriefing Bond on the personnel on the other side. There is something otherworldly about Mayday, her strength and her fashion being the two big indicators of that. Yeah, she's one of the best hench people in all of Bond.
Yeah.
She establishes her value very quickly with the scene where the stallion is sort of going berserk and she rushes over and grabs the reins. She's very
Pegasus.
effective as a hench person. She is very stylish. She is creative. She is stronger, I think, than Jaws or Red Grant or Job.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when I'm watching Mayday, Xenia Onatop is there in that character, you know? There's a lot that
Yeah.
Famke Janssen has taken from Grace Jones. So all of this makes her like fundamental to the text that is James Bond. And she could have killed both James Bond and Max Zorin at points in this movie, and it would have been great.
Yeah, honestly, she chose not to do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She unfortunately has this turn in her final act that kind of goes against character and is more ludicrous than any other femme fatale turned heroine that we've seen. Zorin, guns down all of his workers in a quarry and drowns them all. And Mayday realizes that she was supposed to be among them. And then she decides to team up with Bond, the man that we've seen her spend 2 hours try to kill. It's pretty confusing. And she's excited to do it. And she like throws her life away.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
I mean, I think the fact that she sees her girls die or dead, that buys me a bit more like belief. Her two hench ladies, she's a hench with henches, and she sees that they have died in the explosion that was supposed to kill her as well. And that's the sort of like she has an emotional break at that moment. So that bit I buy. Speaking of those henches, this is a movie with an unusually high number of actual like women with speaking roles and a presence in the film. Which is to say there are 6 women.
Wow.
7 if you count Kimberly from the opening scene. So relative to the genre and the franchise and the era, that's a lot of women
That's a
on the
lot of women
screen that say things and have a
have
personality
names. Yeah.
and names. Yeah, I don't think Kimberly's name ever is used in the movie, the opening lady, but everyone else, we've got Jenny Flex, Panho, Stacey Sutton, of course, Moneypenny, Paula Ivanova. Is that 6? I think that's the 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
7 counting Kimberly.
Yeah, Pola Ivanova, say that 3 times fast, was supposed to be Anya Amasova.
Yes.
Which, I mean, hearing those names side by side feels lazy, for one, but also imagine the world where Barbara Bach shows up to do one hot tub scene with an aging Roger Moore. Do you think that's why she said no?
I think, yeah, because Paula looks incompetent at the end, like she takes the wrong tape. And then she's gone from the story, right? She's done. So, yeah, I imagine Barbara Bach was like, oh, this sounds interesting. Do you have a lot of money to throw my way? Okay. And let me see the script. Oh, no, thank you. No,
thanks.
like.
This movie did come in under budget, so that actually explains quite a lot.
And yeah, Barbara Bach, like, it's not like she has a huge legacy of roles under her belt. So I can see her being protective of the role of Anya Amasova and saying, like, oh, I don't want my character to come back just to be a joke.
Smart.
And it's weird that like the more we dig into the sort of the details of these movies, the more times an actor has said, I won't come back, I won't reprise my role as a Bond woman just so you can make a mockery of her. Like Michelle Yeoh not coming back as well. And I'm sure there are other examples of this where women are just like, no, like they could have done it again and they did not.
In your film.
Yeah.
I mean, it is both sad and smart, because how great would it be to see these women return in official capacities in these films, but also why can't the writers give them any kind of credit for the work that they did in their own films? Yeah. I mean, these are clearly films made in the 80s, 90s, 70s. It's like, I think if we were to do it now, well, we did do it now with Madeline Swan.
Yeah.
And did that work out well? I'm really trying to think about that.
Wow. Well, it was a nice thought.
Stacey Sutton goes from being a geologist with exceptional capacity to help James to a helpless, screaming woman shouting, James! Very quickly. She makes Christmas Jones seem like pussy galore.
Yeah, like for the first half of the movie, she's a competent geologist because she's not in the first half of the movie.
Right.
So
Right. She has that
she,
one scene.
she has one scene where she doesn't give her name and she's just standing on a bridge looking beautiful because she is
Yes.
extraordinarily beautiful.
My God, so beautiful.
And so standing still on a bridge is her greatest hit in this movie, unfortunately. Just unattainable beauty, not demeaning herself by talking to this ancient, withered St. John Smart.
Honestly, I wish that could be my life.
But yeah, she deteriorates so fast. And she's in, like, the second half of the movie, she's in almost every scene, it feels like.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's just screaming and she's just pathetic.
Useless.
She's the archetypal pathetic Bond woman. And it's
so
real sad.
It is. She doesn't even get to shoot her own shotgun. He takes it out of her hands the moment he sees it. And yeah, such a waste.
She gets snuck up on by a blimp, like literally an airship,
which as it passes
down,
makes the loudest noise. And she's like,
reaches out
and snatches her.
And it's like, that's the craziest. That might be one of the weirdest things to ever happen in a Bond movie. And the bar is high.
I mean, we have pigeon double takes. We have corkscrew cars, and that takes the cake.
Yeah, it's like Dick Dastardly type villainy.
Keystone Cop.
Moneypenny doesn't get a great showing in this film either because she is like fully relegated to sort of this matronly role at this point. Like
literally wearing a matronly outfit.
Yeah, her outfits are awful at this stage. And when you look back at her fierce fashions of her early looks, like she was a dime and she was dressed like a hot secretary who James Bond would naturally be distracted by every time he came into the office. But by the end, Roger Moore still gets to be Roger Moore. He still gets to be James Bond. But Moneypenny gets to be Grandma. She gets to be like crying at weddings.
That they take out back and shoot because she's got a lame leg. Yeah.
And yeah, betting on horses and all of that stuff, which is very, James, but it doesn't have there's no sexual frisson anymore.
No. You can say that about Roger Moore. It's really sad in this film.
Yes, true. I mean, Roger Moore is the problem. Now, I'm glad they didn't set Lois Maxwell out to pasture before Roger Moore. Like, they acknowledged, hey, these people are the same age.
They gotta go.
It would really suck to only fire one of them. But at the same time, like, they should have fired both of them maybe 4 movies back, you know?
Yeah. I just read today that Roger Moore had a contract for his first 3 films, and then each of the subsequent 4 films was like on a film-to-film basis. So he could have bowed out at any time. The studio could have found someone else at any time, and they all chose this.
They made Moonraker and then said, let's do that again 3 more times.
3 more times. My God. Wow. Should we talk about The Boys?
I just want to shout out quickly. Jenny Flex and Pan Ho, the sidekick girls, they have some great fashions.
Yes.
The Jenny Flex, of course you are line makes no sense. Like, I assume it means genuflect, as in get on your knees, but it's like really labored to get to that as a sexual innuendo. But also Alison Doody as Jenny Flex, the only Indiana Jones woman to also be a Bond woman. So we have a Charlie's Angel and a Jones woman and Mayday.
Another Jones.
It's pretty a pretty great lineup.
Yes.
Of people being horribly underused.
This is going to sound horrible, but there was at one point yesterday where we were watching the film and Mayday, Pan Ho, and Jenny Flex are all on screen at the same time. And I said, oh, look, they have one of every kind of woman. And that's what they were thinking.
Yes. I understood that you were not serious, but that it was...
But definitely it was the intent of the movie to say, look how diverse we are.
Yeah. And then, 20 years later for Charlie's Angels, they could only get, like, one non-white woman in the trio. They're
Ah,
just swapping out Tandy Newton for Lucy Liu. Was it Tandy Newton
yes,
that
that's
dropped
right.
out?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, like, well, one of you is a woman of color, and the others can be just
Drew Barrymore
good
and
old
Cameron
white girls.
Diaz. Yeah, the most white girls. Okay, let's
So
talk
let's
about
move on to
some
white
boys.
boys.
Garbage Mama.
There's
I
one A-plus breakout superstar hottie in this film.
and he's in it for 15 seconds.
Yeah. Dolph Lundgren, who was dating Mayday, Grace Jones at the time, appears as just like a KGB thug in one very brief scene. You know, clearly he was on set and they were like, wow, that guy looks like the most Red Grant person that's ever walked the earth. We have to use him.
Why did we not have you here in the first place? Kind of feeling.
Yeah, yeah. And, you know, Dolph Lundgren is gorgeous at every age. The big eyes, high cheekbones. He's so handsome. And in this, yeah, you can tell he's a model in this
Oh, yeah.
brief scene. And he's setting a bar that no one else can touch in this film.
Literally. Oh my God. Every other man in this film is over the age of 55. Not that daddies can't be hot, but these men are decidedly not.
Pierce Brosnan is in his 70s now and is still gorgeous. So, you know.
It's possible, right? But here it's just like we said, give me the hairiest, burliest, misshapenest, facest of
Wait, that's your type.
these men.
Not to call you out, but
I like them. Yeah, I like them, but I like them stupid. Well, yeah, I guess as if they've been punched in the face a few times.
what we're saying is these don't even meet your criteria,
They
despite
don't
ticking
meet.
so many boxes.
Yeah, that is the problem. It's that bad.
Harsh. Yeah, Roger Moore is an aged creeper in this film. Like, this is his oldest and therefore his creepiest.
Yeesh,
Going up to
yikes,
women
yowza.
who, as he says, women young enough to be his granddaughter and having to go up to them and say, you look very sad. Would you like to maybe bone? It's like, just feels awful. And this was the point. This was his tipping point where he's like, you know what? This feels weird even to me. And I'm a Hollywood white man. And even I'm thinking, I can't do another one of these
Oh my
because it's
God.
gross.
Yeah, apparently, like the lore is he met Tanya Roberts' mother on set and then realized he could be Tanya Roberts' grandfather. And
Yeah.
that's when he said, it's time to take off the tux.
And get into bed with this 20-year-old.
Dives right in. It didn't
Just
stop
put one
him.
of those like steps to help him get into the bed.
Set up his CPAP machine before doing the do. Our
Other
friend
men in this
Jomar said
film-
it best. I hate this man.
Like, there are a couple of incidental hotties just like strolling around the Zorin estate. But other than that, like, we've got Patrick McNee. Great to have you here. Glad you finally got a bite of the Bond cherry. Christopher Walken, who is very unctuous, but isn't really like a standout villain and not a sex pot, I would
Right.
say. Monsieur Achille Aubergine,
Great name.
who is a Hercule Poirot stand-in. Who else have we got? Like Scarpine, the most boring hench person of
Yep.
all time, and an elderly Nazi.
Woo, sweating, getting me hot under the collar. Yeah, really.
I don't actually know what's the age gap between the guy who plays the elderly Nazi and Roger Moore, because that's a question I need to find the answer to.
It's dark. I mean, honestly,
I'm
if I was gonna guess, I would say under 10 years.
going to have to look this up now.
Yeah, I mean, young Christopher Walken is charming, but he's not sexy.
To some people, he probably is.
And to some people, especially at this time, he probably was. To me, he kind of looks like a cousin of mine. And that's a turn off. I just want to be very clear that it's not something I'm interested in. But he does have that kind of like 80s, like bottle blonde, big-eyed, heroin-cheeked kind of look that must have been like, I don't know, the California standard at the time. I'm sure that does something for someone out there. Not doing it for me.
You're 1 year out on your prediction. There is 11 years
I
between
was going to say 9. Damn it.
Willoughby Gray was born in 1916, Roger Moore was born in 1927. So,
Oh
yeah.
my, wow, we're coming up on Roger Moore's 100th cent.
It looks that way. Yeah, maybe they can just dig him up and make him do another Bond movie. Why not? You know?
I mean, he's a reanimated
Oh.
corpse in this one. Why not? Let's talk
So we're going to
about
say
something good.
not a lot of hot boys.
Yeah. Let's talk about the music. Something good in this film.
Something tells me I'm into something good.
Hey, A View to a Kill is a killer tune. It's one of the greats. And this John Barry soundtrack is also really fantastic. It only uses the James Bond theme once, but it relies heavily on the On Her Majesty's Secret Service theme, which I really appreciate. And it's very stringy, but there's a lot of guitar, like very 80s guitar riffs in there. And so it feels like a really great soundtrack. There's just one issue, and do you know what I'm going to say, Andrew?
Is it the Beach Boys?
It's the Beach Boys, because it's not the Beach Boys. It's a cover band of the Beach Boys for some ungodly reason. It wouldn't even be good if it were the Beach Boys version of California Girls, but at least that would be like, okay, well, you have a very well-known popular song from the 60s in this ludicrous scene. Here, it's like, it's immediately off. And so it kind of...
The scene being the skiing scene pre-titles, we should say.
Yes. All of a sudden, James loses one ski and popularizes snowboarding, apparently, according to the mythos of this film. I doubt that Roger Moore skiing on one ski is what propelled people to say, oh, hey, I should do that. Although maybe it did get them to say, oh, hey, I could do that.
Right. Maybe you don't break a hip doing this. Who knows? Turns out you do.
But yeah, the song is just like so hammy. In a campy movie, that felt like bad.
I think it becomes the new musical lowlight of the series until Eric Serra comes along to steal the crown.
Yeah, truly.
But in counterpoint, Duran Duran's theme is like it's high camp, it's urgent, it's something of a reset for the franchise. Like before this, the only time we'd had like a rock and roll band was Wings. Afterwards, we go into Aha and Garbage and Sheryl Crow, and this sort of it launches the modern era of like contemporary pop stars doing the theme, which is what we're living in now. Like before that, it was all very like crooners and belters. And we do get like a couple more belters post Living Daylight, post Duran Duran. But for the most part, we've moved into like guitar territory.
And it sounds good. And the song holds up to this day. You can tell the quality of a Bond song by whether they would play it on the radio, and you still hear it played on the radio. Who's listening to the radio anymore? But you know what I mean. Like, this is a song that just pops up randomly to this day. It is now 40 years old. Are we in the 40th anniversary of this film? My God. I just realized I'm turning 40 next year.
No, can't be right. Also, let's talk about the opening titles that go with the music, because amazing. Like it's the most 80s of all the Bond opening titles. And that's what makes this one of my favorites, because it goes hard with the day glow in the dark paint on the eyelashes and the lips and the guns. This very bored woman pretending to ski in a tiny skirt and a crisscross top, which leading you to think that maybe skiing plays a big part in this movie. But no, you've already at this point seen all the skiing in the movie.
A lot of it really ice and fire motif.
Again. Yeah. It's
not
just,
much ice or fire in this film.
Like when we come time to rank them, I feel like this is going to be a high placement just for the visuals for me.
Oh, yeah.
Though we'll see. I say these things and then later on I realize that I love everything and, you know.
Yeah. But no, this one does feel special. And I think a lot of it is the day glow makeup for me.
Yeah.
I think it's just so striking and stunning, and it's used so well. Like, it doesn't feel animated. It's just like the lights go down and the UV light goes up, and all of a sudden, like, you just have this pop of a face. And it's just like so Technicolor. It's perfect. And you can see like the height of their hair silhouetted behind them. And it's all like curly mops that are way too tall and way too like bob-like. I don't know. There's just something about 80s hair that is represented in the credits here that is not represented anywhere else in the film.
Yeah, true, true. Well, does that segue us into the fashion of the movie?
Yes, it certainly does. The fashion. It would almost, there would be nothing to talk about if it weren't for Mayday.
Yes, I think that's sort of true in terms of like interesting fashion. I will say, like, what this movie does, what those opening titles do very well is like represent the 80s. And this movie also, though it doesn't give us like the big hair, the shoulder pads version of the 80s, it does give us that very sort of Trumpian, conspicuous consumption version of the 80s. Like, it is absolutely about this version of luxury that was Dynasty, you know, a show that ran from 81 to 89. People cosplaying Versailles, people going to the horse races, Rolls Royces as the sort of the absolute peak. So yeah, that is definitely this movie. And again, it makes me, you know, I appreciate that more now in retrospect, looking at this movie as an artifact of the 80s and seeing how perfectly it captured that side of the 80s. But at the time, representing it as something aspirational, whereas now we look back and we're like, oof,
Gaudy. Yeah.
tacky, gross, you know, everything that Donald Trump still stands for to this day is right there on the screen. And thank God we moved on, except oops.
Oops.
Turns
Big
out we
oops.
didn't.
Turns out this was a touchstone for people.
Mhm.
I did love the Louis Vuitton luggage, and I particularly love that Patrick Macnee had to carry it all for Roger Moore, huffing and
Got to
wheezing
stay
the
in
entire
character.
way. Had to stay in character, and the wheezing, I'm sure, was part of the character. And I'm sure Roger Moore was not wheezing as he was going up those stairs. He's very lithe and virile. But the Louis Vuitton luggage, I did love. I also loved Zorin's transition aviators, because I'm pretty sure that's what they are. But they are like this golden yellow color, and they cover half of his very wide face. And yeah, I'd wear those today. And I saw people on the beach yesterday wearing.
See, the 80s is back. But yeah, Mayday steals the show completely with her outfits. The red and black ensemble with the chimney stack hat always is going to stand out to me as like the quintessential Mayday look. But yeah, she's wearing things that no one else is wearing because she's Grace Jones. And I think the costumes are Grace Jones's own outfitter.
Yeah, yeah. She brought her own designer to the set,
Yeah.
and thank God, because these white people were never going to be able to dress this black woman the way that she deserved. But everything she
Yeah.
wears is like a cowl neck, or yeah, a tall turban with a hood and a tassel, or like leather gloves that go up to her elbows, chunky jewelry. Oh my God, it's all incredible stuff. And the colors are beautiful as well. Like, you have
Yeah.
the red really pops, especially with that like the shiny black of the onyx jewelry and the leather gloves. And then you have this maroon cowl with a deep purple lining, and then there's the black leather outfit with the bumblebee yellow stripe going through the hood. It's
Yes.
all really visually sumptuous and incredible and stunning and eye-catching.
Yeah, and yeah, totally different to everyone else on the screen, but also everything else that was happening on the screen at the time. Like, you look back at this movie and she is still like timeless and immaculate and aspirational in
Yeah.
her fashion choices. And even like the, you know, the styling the hair with the devil horns, such a great choice.
Yeah.
And when she's wearing almost nothing at all, I mean, actually literally she's wearing nothing at all in a couple of like flashes of like skin going past the screen, and it's like, look at this incredible woman. But when she's
Flawless.
wearing that leotard which hides nothing at all, and it's like, even that is a crazy bold choice, and one that she committed to. Like, you know,
Yeah.
she was not hiding anything,
She didn't need
and
to.
it's incredible. You know, Mayday is the moment.
She is the icon. She is the legend. She is the moment. Yeah, I have nothing more to add to that. She's just perfect in this.
Makeup.
Oh, the makeup. I mean, okay. The makeup is also really incredible, particularly when she is nearly drowned in a coal mine. and she pops out and she still has the incredible cat's eye with the red eyeshadow and the red cheekbones. Like,
Yeah.
that is some makeup setting that deserves an Oscar.
Honestly, yeah, because you've got Stacey Sutton in her sort of 80s, like baby doll porcelain sort
Mm-hmm.
of makeup, and it's like, yeah, the person doing Grace Jones's makeup was not the person doing the other women's makeup in this movie.
No. Yeah, really well
Some
done.
some decor moments that I would call out. The ice
Versailles,
flow
obviously.
submarine. Yes, well, not actually Versailles, but very like it. But no, yeah, the ice flow submarine at the start, where they have this sort of groovy, I guess, a literally sunken lounge.
Mm-hmm.
It's very chic. The interior of the Nippon Relaxation Spa, which from the outside is the grodiest building you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, it's a San Francisco rub and tug, but inside apparently just gorgeous. Just a really lovely onsen. And also Stacy's kitchen, which is the most cluttered room in a mostly barren house.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
a farm style kitchen with a big Raven stove, lovely copper pots. It's like, yeah, that still works for me.
Yeah. Everything else in Stacey Sutton's home is deplorable, from the empty
Yeah.
ballroom to the empty hallway that just contains her grandfather's ashes and a portrait of him. And I think the worst part of it is her bedroom, which has a bunch
A
of
bedroom.
paintings of children and the most hideous, like, crocheted or patterned duvet that I've ever seen. A four poster bed, but without any hangings on it. Just cluttered like the kitchen, but
Yeah.
in the worst way. Although
Yeah, her
she
house
does have an
tells.
amazing shower, an incredible
She
shower.
does. She does. The big brass, like, cage shower. Gorgeous. Yeah, her house tells a story because it's like her dad has died. She's clearly let the staff go. She's sold everything, it seems like, except for the kitchen and the bedroom are the only rooms that she's using in this giant old house.
Because she's a
But the
woman,
bedroom is still
obviously.
it's her childhood bedroom, and she's still sleeping in it. And it's like, this needs to change. Like, this looks like a little girl's bedroom, and
It's
it's
not helping when
creepy.
Roger Moore walks in there. Let's talk about something else that's really disappointing. Let's talk about the queerness in this film.
So the queerest moment of the movie is Mayday being sad that her girls are dead. Like, that, for me, that's it. That's the pinnacle of queerness in this movie. Other than Grace Jones herself being an icon.
And Dolph
And,
Grun.
you know,
Dolph.
Dolph Grun, yeah.
Dolph Grun. Dolph Lundgren
yes,
being in this.
having the most beautiful man just appear for a second, I guess, is also kind of pandering to me specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Grace Jones killing Poirot with a butterfly at the Eiffel Tower. I called it out to my friends yesterday. Like, that's what you missed.
Yeah.
Like, that feels epochal. But other than that, this is not a terribly queer movie.
And this is a film set in San Francisco in the 80s. I feel like that needs to be mentioned. We are in the gay mecca of the world at the time, and there's not even like a rainbow flag anywhere to be seen. It feels direct.
Like the moment where in the fire truck chase, where the fire truck cuts the top off like a camper van, whatever it is, a truck, like a bedded truck with literally a bed in the back, and there's a middle-aged couple shagging in the back of this truck. And it's like, you could have been subversive there. Like, it would make way more sense if those were two dudes.
Yeah.
In the back of that truck. Yeah, it is not. And the fact that this movie comes out at this is like the first post-AIDS Bond movie, basically. And it's like the end of promiscuous Bond, because he is still slutting it up in this movie. But, you know, the culture took an urgent shift right at this point, and the idea of Bond sleeping with multiple women in a movie suddenly became like irresponsible, because it endangers the health of men.
There it is. I was going to say, when has Bond ever worried about being irresponsible?
Bond could catch something, and that would be the worst.
Yeah.
But if he's just like knocking up women left, right, and center and then abandoning them, that's fine, apparently.
Totally
so yeah,
cool.
This is the end of promiscuous Bond. Not to say that he isn't still a slut, but he's a much more ethical slut going forward.
Right.
And yeah, of course the movie doesn't address it. I wouldn't expect a Bond movie to address the AIDS crisis head on, but
it would be incredible.
But it does, at the same time, become very conspicuous how they have straight-washed San Francisco in
Yeah.
this film. A movie that has never been, sorry, a city that has never been straight. Like, it's not like that's an invention of the AIDS era that San Francisco is queer. San Francisco has been a naval town since, like, forever. It's a
Since
queer city.
inception. Yes.
Um, the other queer thing I want to call out is that Zorin himself, written for David Bowie, offered to Mick Jagger and then Sting. It's like diminishing levels of queerness to get down to Christopher Walken. Bowie didn't think that the role would be great for him. He thought he'd end up just sitting around on set all the time and
He
thought
was
that
not
he
wrong.
himself would be too camp for the movie, which, no,
Wow.
David, that's what we need. So yeah, Zorin ends up being nowhere near as sort of queer as he could have been, though the relationship with his Nazi father, who is not his actual father, the
Thank
Nazi
God.
scientist who is like his paternal figure, like there's a moment right at the end where they're like real intimate with each other. Like, yeah, it's like,
Lingering for like that 1 second too long where it's like, are they
mm,
gonna fuck or are they
yeah.
gonna fight? Yeah.
And of course, then when Zorin dies, his Nazi father is like, well, I have to just blow everything up now. My
Yeah.
grief is too much.
Yeah, that's pretty gay. But yeah, that's it. Like there's no queerness to hold on to, and that's a spoiler for the point system that we're going to get to now, I guess.
I
So,
guess.
yeah, right? Unless you have anything else that you want to add, I feel like we've left everything on the table today.
Yeah, I think I feel satisfied with the assessment that we've given this film.
Great.
Now, just to quantify it,
Yes, all right. So we give the movie a score between 0 and 5 points, and then we award bonus points for the women, the boys, the music, the fashion, and the queerness. And we also allow space for a penalty if the film is particularly egregious. So, Andrew, what are you giving this movie out of 5?
what can I give this movie out of 5? I mean, my instinct says it's a 2. That feels a little generous, but
Honestly, I felt the exact same way. I was going to say 2 as well, and also I feel like that might be more than it deserves. And I'm trying to think, why not 1? Why not 1? Because of Grace
like,
Jones.
yeah, is it? Yeah, and because it's not Moonraker.
And because it's not Moonraker. And honestly, like there's some good action scenes. Am I talking myself out of this? No. I'm gonna stick with a 2. I think 2 makes sense for this film. It is definitely not the worst film. It's not the worst Roger
No,
Moore Bond film either.
no.
I reserve that for Octopussy. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 2.
If you watch it at 1.5 speed,
It's
it's actually
better.
kind of fun.
Yeah, it moves at the
Like,
pace it should.
yeah, yeah. And it's like exciting at the end when they're dangling off the Golden
Yeah.
Gate Bridge. Like, oh, ooh.
Yeah, ooh. Anything could happen. Okay, let's talk the women. Are we going to award a bonus point for a single woman?
I mean, it's Grace Jones, but also the fact that there are multiple women in the movie, like that have a significant enough role. I like that. But if it were just Grace Jones, I think it would probably still get the point. So it's getting the point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she is incredible, but also I really like the characters of Jenny Flex and Penho. Wish they had more to do,
Mhm.
but really appreciate how much they got to do in a film that hates women. Let's talk about boys. I don't think I can give this film a point for the boys. How about you?
I wish that Dolph Lundgren were enough. He just isn't in it enough. So it's a
No,
0.
absolutely. And I love the music in this film, so I'm going to have to give it the bonus point there.
I would almost punish them for the Beach Boys thing. No, it's a good track. It's a good score. I'll give it the music point as well because this film is not going to score high.
No.
But this actually is an interesting one, the fashion, because it again comes down kind of to Grace Jones plus whatever your sense of the 80s is in this
Right.
movie. And I will say, I've said at the outset, the artifactness of this movie as an 80s piece actually is one of the things that now still most interests me about the movie. So on that basis, plus Grace Jones, I'm actually going to give it the fashion point because I think this is an interesting movie stylistically.
I agree. I guess I agree. My problem is that the men's fashion in this film is loathsome. There is no men's
Right.
fashion in this film. It's all women's fashion, which is great, obviously, and decor fashion. I think I'm going to hold back on giving this film the
Okay.
point. I just makes sense for me, and giving it a half point makes sense. This, I
And then
think
the
we're agreed
queerness.
on. There is no queerness. It can't possibly get the
No,
point.
it cannot get the point. So it's a 5 from me and a 4 from you?
So a 4.5, which feels correct.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that.
No, that's too bad. This film could have been great if we'd had a different Bond. Honestly, that might have solved
Yeah,
all of the film's problems. It's just he's too slow and he has no charisma left, and everyone
and
suffers because of that.
he makes everything feel gross and icky,
Yeah.
and it really just shoots the whole thing in the foot.
But you and I have better Roger Moore films to talk about in our future. We have
Yeah.
better Bond films to talk about in our future. We have better action films to talk about in our future. So, stick around. Leave us a comment. Let us know your favorite Christopher Walken movie or your favorite Grace Jones track, or vice
Mhm.
versa. Has Christopher Walken
Vice
ever
versa.
recorded any music and you want us to know? And we definitely know Grace Jones has been in other movies, and you can rest
Oh,
assured
yes.
we will be talking about them on this podcast.
Halloween's coming up, baby.
But until then, kiss, kiss.
Bang, bang.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.